Hi, this is Sarah from Set Series, and long time no see. I can't promise that I won't take another, hiatus in the future, but I'm not lazy right now, so that's why I'm filming. So recently, I have read 1984 by George Orwell for my AP class, and if you don't know what 1984 is, it is about the year 1984, and it's about a dystopian society that is controlled by an entity called Big Brother, and the party, which is a subsection under Big Brother, is in control of wiping out history that is basically against Big Brother. So like if Big Brother says that there's going to be a 15% reduction in chocolate, but there's actually a 25% chance, and the next week they go back and they fix it to make it look like Big Brother predicted this reduction. So basically he's an all-seeing God and omnipotent entity. And in this novel, Winston Smith comes to terms with the fact that he is starting to think outside of the party. He is starting to remember things more, and he's not using doublethink to contradict what he knows. And in this world, they use doublethink as a way of telling yourself, oh, I saw that, but it didn't happen, so I didn't see it, so essentially it didn't happen, because it goes against the party and Big Brother. And in this society, if you're considered a thought criminal, which Winston is eventually considered one after his affair with Julia, and trying to become a member of Goldstein's rebellion, he's taken to the Ministry of Love, which is obviously not a ministry of love. It's the ministry used for torturing those who, well, essentially I guess it is the Ministry of Love, because the whole point of this ministry is to make you love one thing only, Big Brother. Pretty smart, I just realized that. So anyway, this ministry tortures Winston and every other thought criminal ever into essentially loving Big Brother. And the whole purpose of Big Brother and the party is that they want power. And every other dystopian and totalitarian society before them created martyrs, and they did not do it right. They had other goals in mind, and Big Brother only wants power, and power over the people. So to have power over the people, you can't have a martyr, which means you have to make the person love Big Brother in every single way before you kill him, because if he loves Big Brother, then he's not a threat. So you can't have a martyr, essentially, if the martyr does not exist. And so I realized after reading this, well, not after, during reading it, that The Hunger Games is not a dystopian novel. It cannot be labeled as a dystopian novel. This is a revolutionary novel, and you can argue your points with me on this, but the whole point of 1984 is to show you that this is a bleak world with no hope. Once you love Big Brother, you are essentially just a party member. That's all you're meant to be, as a part of the mass. So once you have assimilated back into the party, there's no hope for you, because this is a hopeless society. That is what a dystopian is. I have also read The Handmaid's Tale, so I could do a comparison essay on these two books. And the Gilead is a hopeless society where they take women who are considered lesser because they had a second marriage or they were single mothers in the time before this revolution happened and created the Gilead. They use them as handmaids, so they're basically reproduction and fertilizers, so that the commanders and the commanders' wives can have children, because they essentially cannot. And most of the time the commanders can't even have children because they are sterile due to radiation and toxins in their bodies. So essentially, even at the end of this book, it is also hopeless. At the end of this book, it is incredibly hopeless. In this book, there is some hope, and then you read the historical notes and you realize this shit is just as hopeless as this, because these are dystopian novels. There is no hope in a dystopian society. If it is a true dystopian society, there will never be hope. I don't know what happened to the Gilead, but eventually it disapparates, right? So obviously there were martyrs. They did not succeed in doing what Big Brother did. So obviously there is some hope here, which would eventually make, if this was another book, it would be a revolutionary novel, but it's not a revolutionary novel. This is a full dystopian novel. There is no hope in this novel at all. And even when there is hope, and you know that Offred could eventually escape, you know that she's going to get caught eventually because the Gilead is so expansive. My problem with the Hunger Games is that it's considered a dystopian novel, but it has a very weak plot. I mean, think about it. Why is this world like it is? In these two novels, I know why the world is like it is. I know the motives. They use technology to make you submit. They use gender to make you submit. And God. God is powerful in here, but it's not a real God. It's Gilead's God. There's a difference. And in this novel, they use the Hunger Games to make you submit. But even then, it's not effective because it's one time of the year to make you submit. That's not going to do anything. And that's a problem I have with YA dystopians. They're labeled as dystopians when it's not a dystopian. This is a revolutionary novel. This is a novel about coming out of a society that has tried to take control but failed to. There is a fine line between a dystopian novel and a revolutionary novel. And this is not a dystopian. And you can argue it with me and say, yes, but it is set in a dystopian society. But the dystopian society did not last for a very long time in history. And when you think about how big the world is and how long it's lasted, this is just a small period of time, whereas this will probably last forever, and this lasted for a good, I think, 1,000 years. So, what do you think about dystopian novels, especially YA novels? Should they be considered dystopian, or should they be now labeled as revolutionary? Let's discuss. Leave a comment down below in the comments, and bye!